We in there. I'm gonna knock these stickers off. What up, people?
All right, what's going on? What's going on?
Hey, man, how you get that link? I don't see us on my phone.
The minute you send it up, I actually wound up checking out because it comes up on YouTube as live. So when it came on, I actually copied and pasted it on Twitter.
Damn, bro, I still don't see it on my own phone.
That's fine, man. You made me get into Twitter, man. That's why I had to learn this stuff quickly.
Man, I still don't know it. This technology wild.
All right. You retweet it on there. Should be good to go, though.
Yeah, I retweeted. All right.
Okay.
If you build it, they will come. What up, people? What up, people? You have just joined the Heroes No Capes podcast. I am the abomination known as AJ. My man's ego is here on the screen in the studio. We about to do this. We about to save some lives today. Breaking this news off to y'all and this what's going on under your very noses, you know.
Indeed.
I mean, what's been up with you, bro? What's been going on?
Nothing much, man. We're just trying to gear up for vacation next week, but just taking care, working in the meantime. Man, how was everything over there?
Everything's good over here, people. We got some dogs here. Like I told y'all on the last episode, if I gotta jump up, gotta go, you know what I'm saying, intervene, take care of some dogs. That might happen. Bear with me. All right, but it's all good. Ain't nobody barking, they chilling. But yeah, same old thing with me, trying to figure out what crazy stuff's going on in the world, what we can talk about, you know, as well as my art projects I got going on. Yeah, man, trying to make some moves. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, all day. I hear you.
Feel good to come in and sit down and, you know, unwind a little bit, talk about some superheroes.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yes. I look forward to this every week. So
that's what's up, man. That's what's up. All right, you want to go on and get into our first topic?
All right. So we got for the first time, we're doing what? Thor: Love and Thunder on this one?
Nah, man. We got before we hop into, you know, some Disney projects themselves, let's talk about Disney and they fuckery as a company as a whole and what they got going on.
Okay. I guess so. We're talking about the tax status that they had as Disney, the company that was being run for Disney World. So essentially, I don't know if anyone's been hearing this or not, but Ron DeSantis signed a bill that would take away Disney's, I guess it's a self-governing status, and it winds up going into effect June of 2023. So essentially, back in, I think it was 1967, there was something called like the Reedy Creek Improvement District, and essentially Disney was granted by the state of Florida a special status that would allow them to provide power, water, roads, and fire protection to the residents of the, I guess, the Reedy Creek area. And because they're having the park there would be seen as a public good, they weren't really beholden to any taxes by the state. And so what wound up happening is because of I guess Disney CEOs getting involved with the HB, which bill was it? HB 1557 that we talked about. You know, they called it "Don't Say Gay." We said it was a parental rights bill. Because they were publicly outspoken denouncing that bill, well, in turn, Governor Ron DeSantis actually wound up stripping them of that tax, self-governance status. So essentially, by June of 2023, we're looking at Disney possibly being on the hook for millions, if not over $1 billion in taxes. So all of that water, electricity, the roads, all that's probably going to be taxed by the state of Florida. And so Disney's going to wind up having to actually pay these taxes for the first times in over 55 years, it looks like. Well, yeah, about 55 years.
Money.
Money. Yeah, they're trying to get it. I mean, as far as just my own personal thoughts, it would be one thing if you have this high position as a CEO or CFO of Disney and you have all these funds, and so you use some of your own funds to back legislation that fights against HB 1557. That's one thing, because you as an individual have your own thoughts, beliefs, and you're going to put your money where your mouth is. You don't use your company as a political tool for a political attack on your enemy when you actually do business in that political enemy's state or region. And so for me, it's one thing to where you feel pressured by your own employees to have to say something, say it publicly, and then use Disney as a shield to promote your beliefs. You know what I mean? Because typically when you have your own beliefs, you're going to use your own platform that's identified with you, not a major company to actually push your political agenda.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that abomination?
So I wouldn't say that it's his or whoever's in charge political agenda. Mm-hmm. I do feel that, like you said, man, they're being so heavily influenced by this particular vocal minority within the company, because a lot of people have spoken out against this shit and said like they can't even have their so-called conservative or like Christian views in the company. But like these people are influencing Disney from the inside out in such a way that whoever's in charge ain't got no nuts and telling these folks like, hey, you know what I'm saying? You got rights. All right, you're working at the company. If you can fucking draw or do your job well and you just so happen to be gay, cool. But you know, we're not out looking for that shit. Like, you come in here, you put in good work. But these are, I think I've said this before in the video, like as a creative, these people who are in charge of Disney right now didn't help make this shit. So now they just fucking the name, like, you know, they pull their nuts out when they want to. And in this case, it's fucking Step Brothers, and they pulling their nutsack out on the drum set that is Disney and the fucking magic that it once was. And they just saying, fuck all this shit. We're going to say what we need to say to get these people up off our backs and to get this rainbow money. Dollar bill, y'all. So that's what's going on. That's my perspective. Okay, I'm not with the whole. I just had a whole weird tax situation myself. All right, fuck the government for the most part. But if you there and man, like you said, you can't be talking all this shit and you're in the place of residence of the people who, you know, you're speaking out against. So, you know, it's just terrible moves on Disney's part, back to back to back, as opposed to not having to go through all this. You could have kept your tax exempt status and just shut the fuck up, like I said, and then just same thing to tell the employees that want to say something. Everybody just shut the fuck up and let's keep doing what we've been doing, just making great shit, staying in our lane. But never mind. Anyway, the whole
go ahead and go with it, man. Go ahead.
The whole decentralization type thing, you know, it's just gonna get to a point to where people think alike. We just have to group up and move to our areas and then just, you know, do our shit, because there's too many like soldiers, like from what's that movie? Bright? Was it Bright? With the they called the evil Superman? No, not Bright. Brightburn?
Yeah, Brightburn.
They call him Superman.
Yeah, Bright. He wears a little ski mask, the red ski mask as a kid.
Yes, so that's what's happening. There's a whole bunch of them that's infiltrating the shit that we love, and they just saying fuck all this shit. We here to bring doom on it all and move on to the next. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I see what you're saying. I mean, the thing is that I understand that there are LGBTQ safe havens across the nation, right? You got Philly, Chicago, San Francisco, Orlando, Miami, Austin. You have them, right? They're pockets within the nation. And I understand if that's the location that you do business in. I understand that there are certain stances that you have to tread lightly with, correct?
Yeah.
However, the theme park that you operate is for children and families. And it's not like you're going to get families that live in Orlando that just go there, because I knew that I lived 10 minutes away from Six Flags. I rarely went, if it ever, when I lived in Arlington. So you've got parents from Madison, Wisconsin, Charlotte, North Carolina, just people that are basically just living lives, and this is their only vacation for the entire year. You know, they save up for the entire year just so the kids and the family can go to Disney for 4 or 5 days and have their son treated like a prince, daughter treated like a princess. The parents are around a friendly environment with other families, and they can go back to their lives. So the typical family that spends this amount of money at Disney is either, maybe libertarian or politically conservative. And so why would you mess with the bag if you know that's what your demographic is? To support a vocal minority that works there for whatever the minimum wage would be for Disney, or for some of the residents that don't actually have, I guess, a season pass or a speed pass where they go every day. And so when you're looking at it, if you look at the demographics and where the money's coming from, I'm willing to bet that it's more conservative or libertarian families that are spending all this money at Disney, not necessarily the residents of Orlando. So it winds up being, if you have to keep the main thing about your bottom line, then you actually wouldn't have said much, if not anything, about the bill, because now it's messing with you now.
Yeah. So I was having this conversation with somebody not too long ago, and this idea of Disney World or Disneyland, specifically Disney World, being like this wonderful place full of magic. You hear about these things growing up, but like you said, a lot of people don't actually get to go, except for a select few people. But I'm like, it's always being sold as like this dream of like, this is on your bucket list of things you want to do before you die, and you've achieved peak human happiness. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody win the Super Bowl and they're like, what you doing? Like, I'm going to Disney.
Right.
So it's like a lot of people have that in their mindset to where they have to do it. So it's like all of the money that they put into, I'm gonna say a waste, because I mean, people, some people enjoy it. Some people get whatever experience they want out of it. But if you really think about what you're doing, you're spending a whole lot of money to go and be lied to, or to be in this fake fantasy world, and to give them a whole lot more money because you're paying for shit while you're there and all that. So it's just this like weird, like, I guess like WandaVision type real life episode, to where like I went to Disney World as a teenager. Now I wanted to go as a kid because I watched the movies, the fucking VHS tapes and the fucking the ad, what is it, advertisement or the commercial for Disney World pop up, and like shit looks great. You know what I'm saying? Looks like the best place ever.
Right.
But when I went, I was just like, this is not what it is. Like, it's people everywhere. People can be rude. That's not what you would expect in a magical world. My shit was Lion King, and Lion King was not popping at the time, so there was nothing Lion King in there. And then we went to this Lion King show, which was like about conservation, which that was fine, but I was just like, I'm not being sold on these are actual worlds that I'm visiting. And now I'm just looking, you got big ass tall people in these fucking costumes, and if a kid, even I as a kid was like, them motherfuckers ain't that tall on the movie, you know what I'm saying, or on the show. So, bro, it's this weird, like I said, WandaVision world, to where you think you're happy because you're there, but you just like, it's just weird, man. It's just weird. And for now, Disney to be influencing themselves politically and things like
Right.
with this tax thing. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and then I guess some my woman was telling me that they was already buying up communities,
Mm-hmm.
like properties around. So it's like,
Yeah, you can expand. Yeah.
yeah, bro. So like they're really on the path of like developing their own like
And
community.
that right, and that's why them getting hit with this the removal of that tax status is gonna either curtail, stall, or disrupt a lot of that. Because I would say this in terms of Disney, it's usually great for one of two phases of life, right? You're a kid and you actually get to see what you saw on TV and you think everything's real, or you're an adult and it's like, yo, I got to get these badass kids up out of the house and into some form of entertainment, and I can be in my own zone too. Because when I went back as an adult, I went about maybe 5 years ago, and I had a work conference to go to that was in Orlando, and so one of the days that we had off, we actually went to Disney. And so as an adult, it's actually kind of fun to see, you can actually drink the alcohol that's there. They got all these alcoholic drinks that they made based off of the characters. So there's that fun aspect of that right there. You're an adult, so you can kind of go wherever you want instead of a kid riding you have to be this tall to ride this ride. You ride whatever you want, drink whatever you want. Hell, they got me to buy an $80 Lilo and Stitch zip up jacket, and I've never even seen Lilo and Stitch. So it's that fun as an adult because you get to do all the things you felt you couldn't do as a child. But as a child, you're actually in Disney. I know, that's what I'm saying. Like I was feeling some kind of way being back in Disney as an adult. And so you get those two demographics, you're gonna get the money. The only problem is that the child doesn't know anything that's going on politically, and the adult doesn't care. Because for 4 or 5 days, we're a family, we get to enjoy all these fun things, and the outside world doesn't exist in Disney. But Disney involving themselves in the outside world is what's kind of messing up that mystique of Disney.
Man, right. But again, this whole fake world that they're creating, like you saying, people, I understand what you mean, like kids don't know and adults don't care. But what about like you got the people protesting against like Disney right now, and like you got a lot of people speaking out against this shit. A lot of people canceling like Disney Plus subscriptions and like passes and whatnot to like these parks. So even with the Thor trailer, like I was watching and I can't speak specifically because I really fucking forgot, but it was like some report in Texas of like the Thor movie or some shit, like the trailer.
Okay.
And everybody was just like, we don't want to see this. That's not we don't want to see Thor basically taking the backseat to the woman. Like they were saying a lot of shit, and I was like, damn, like Texas. Okay, so Texas know what's up, but I would hear, that Texas is great as fuck, except for like Austin and they the weirdos.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so a lot of people in Texas are seeing this, as well as people boycotting Disney and Disney parks. So people are becoming more aware. That's why when you were saying that this is going to like disrupt their plans, I feel like it, and I guess it's like some conspiracy shit, but I guess it's kind of like making them make a move, because now you're seeing all of the people who are with that type of thinking, who are being aware, and they behind Disney or backing Disney into a corner. It's like, are you gonna stay there in those communities and live in your little fun magical world, or are you gonna? I guess you could take it. You take
no,
it.
I mean, are you saying? I mean, I'm trying to figure out which way you mean in terms of like the people that are really backing Disney or the people that are against Disney.
The people backing Disney, who let's say people like stand in those communities who work for this company. I'm saying, are you going to see more of that line of thinking? Are you going to see them slowly come and back up Disney if Disney keeps moving in this direction, while everybody else who's not with what Disney is doing, you see them start to pull out of that Disney community?
Right.
Will you start to see Disney lose money because the average person knows what Disney is doing?
Right.
So yeah, like the tax thing is happening, but yeah, I think it's just gonna force some moves, or you know what I'm saying? The gays gonna be looking at dude like, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
you gonna pay them taxes?
Well, that's the other half of it. It's, well, how much does Disney really mean to you in life? Do you get what I mean? At the end of the day, it's still a theme park. You still have to live the rest of your life.
Right.
You know, and if nothing else, like if you feel that way about Disney, what is your recourse? You don't own a piece of Disney. You don't own Disney. You still live where you live. You know,
I'm saying, but it's do you think that will entice them? Because this is a company. But I just saw on some social media posts, with the Disney Air talking about they transgendered, and the transgender person I knew was like, "Oh shit, we better eat now."
The problem is we don't care. We didn't ask for you to reveal that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We don't. When it comes down to it, what you're telling me is a bedroom behavior. And that's none of my business. That's none of your business. That's only if you're in that kind of community and you want to talk specifics about your bedroom behavior, that's fine. The only problem is when you put that on Front Street, you're telling me that I built every idea, every thought, every action is based on what I identify as. And the thing is, if you're trying to make a place magical for everyone else, they're going to be in conflict. It was supposed to be, I know that that community likes to use minorities' plight as a simile for themselves, but it used to be that, like in the prior to the civil rights movement, it was you have to just be the best, and it just so happens that you are Black, right? So that when they see you, they'll say, "Oh, I know that you guys can do good things. I know Booker T. Washington built his entire college by making their own bricks. So you guys have the ability to do awesome things, and it just so happens that you're Black. So I know that not everyone that's Black is lesser than, right?" Mm-hmm. So now it's flipped to where the other community is saying, well, because I'm transgender, gay, lesbian, whatever, it influences everything that I do. You have to know, look at me being this way. And it's like, well, where's the greatness that's supposed to make me look at everything else but your identity? Do you get what I mean? If you told me, hey, I've opened several parks in Shanghai, we're expanding to Sydney this year. Look out for us. We're going to be creating another theme park in Morocco, or Italy, and it just so happens that, I'm non-binary, transgender, whatever. Or if we had to ask to find that out, that's different than you telling me that to begin with, and then that's all that I hear.
Yeah, because I would say the response to that would be, we just moving how we move. We make the business deal. That's what's up. And then if I find out, you something or you say, well, okay, that's what's up.
Right.
All right. And then moving on.
Right.
So,
go ahead.
So I mean, that's why I don't understand like the whole fight or what they're fighting for. At this point, it's like for some altered reality, because I'm like, people already treat you as a human. Now, people don't treat every human, great. So that's an issue, you know what I'm saying, with them. But it's like I was telling the people that I'm talking to that's from this community, like online, I'm like, y'all even admit that, I was a cool person, you know what I'm saying? That then I was cool to talk to because I was, intelligent, like I could hold a conversation. So I'm like, they admit that I was a nice person and respectful and shit. So I'm like, that's typically everybody that you come in contact with. Don't nobody hate y'all. Ain't nobody pulling out fucking torches and fucking pitchforks and shit. Or saying you don't need to live next to me. Some folks doing some shit like that.
But we already saying they're terrible people to be. We say they're terrible though. And like they hate you, but they hate a lot of other people too.
Yeah.
And so it's not just you.
You just
that you're being singled out. Right.
So you get a new kind of hate.
Right.
God damn. From them, not from us.
Right. We don't really care.
Yeah, man, we don't care. Good. Hey, bro, I'm a follower of Christ. I don't like the titles. You know what I'm saying? I'm not super religious, but there are rules that I follow.
Principles,
Yeah, and of the Bible. And it's not for me to judge. You know what I'm saying? That's between you and God. I'm just chilling. Live your life. Let's be great people, and we'll move on about our day, and shit gonna work out.
Right. Right. That's really all it needs to be. There's no really reason for you to put any more of your identity out that I didn't really ask for.
Yeah.
If you're the Disney heiress, okay, well, I all I know is about you is that you're going by these different gender pronouns. I don't even know what you do.
I don't even know who you are.
I don't know who you are. You're like, why should I? And it's why should I care? Why should I be invested in you as a person? And why are you throwing your identity out to lead with that?
And this was right after Disney got some backlash for some gay shit.
Right.
And they just pulled this random ass Pinocchio little boy out with a little suit on, like this.
I'm a real boy.
Exactly. I'm the real heir. Like Disney is mine. You taking this shit over. And like, I don't know, it was on some anime, I'm sure it was, but I'm just thinking of some little evil child that was on fucking Pokemon, but like some evil child is like mind controlling all the adults around them. But like, he's the bro. You remember that episode? Did you watch Black Dynamite?
Ooh, it's been a while, man.
Ah, bro, the fucking episode with Michael Jackson. Don't worry about it. We'll watch it.
All right.
That's what the fuck's going on at Disney, bro. Once you watch that episode, you'll know what the hell I'm talking about. This shit is wild.
You have to send me the link for it later. I'll check that out.
Cream corn. All right, bro. Anybody watching, man? Y'all see Black Dynamite? Y'all know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we done talking about this subject, bro. We want to move on to the next one.
Yeah. What we got next up, man?
All right. So we still on the topic of Disney because they always on some wild shit.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Well, at least now. All right. So the Thor Love and Thunder trailer is recently come out.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I did actually. I did.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I did.
Okay.
I can. Again, it's. I guess it's a little bit over 90 seconds long, and after watching it, the first reaction I had was, "Who was this movie for?" I really had no idea. It looks like
who it's for.
I know it's the rhetorical question of who is this for,
and they loved it.
The only thing they loved was Sweet Child of Mine. That's it. All they loved were 80s references
and the colors and oh god.
Right. Like I said, I checked out after Thor to the Dark World.
Yeah.
Which was a little bit more Norse mythology based than Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder. So, I mean, for people that haven't seen it, it basically shows Thor going on this spiritual journey where he goes to find himself and he has to recruit Guardians of the Galaxy, and he has to, involve Jane Foster, who's now wielding Mjolnir as the new Thor.
You talking about this trailer? I thought you were talking about Dark World.
No. Dark World was Dark World involved like yeah. No. Like Dark World was him actually having to go up against dark forces on his own without him really having any help. You know, it was a little bit confusing, but I like it. There were dark elves that involved some manner of Norse mythology, and the only thing I think they missed out on was explaining the Reality Stone, because we didn't know what that was. We just knew Jane was sick and there was the Reality Stone, but we found out later that's what it was, the Reality Stone.
She's sick.
Yeah, like that wasn't in the Dark World. She got sick, I think, because she drank the ether or fell into it or something like that.
Okay.
But I mean, as far as what I saw in the Love and Thunder trailer, it's basically looks like Thor going on the spiritual quest to find himself while everyone else is handling business, like Guardians of the Galaxy, Jane Foster, Valkyrie even. And so, you know, comic book wise, it's more so based on the 2014 storyline of Original Sin, where I think that version of Nick Fury says something to Thor and he's unable to be worthy enough to wield Mjolnir, right? Pretty much Jane Foster picks it up. Thor gives up his name and his powers because he sees Jane Foster wielding them better. So he winds up going by Odin's son instead of Thor. And so that's kind of the comic book basis of it. You know, Jane Foster in the comic book winds up getting cancer, and then when she gets Mjolnir, she suddenly gets the toxins purged from her body. So knowing the comic book origins and then watching the trailer is like, I don't have any connection to this at all. You know, part of the issue I had was the fact that when we first saw Thor and we were shown who Odin was, Odin was the actual ruler of Asgard, right? Had brought peace to the 9 realms, had a loving family. He kept his realm out of wars, obtained peace. He was grounded in who he was, and he was wise. And they're showing us the opposite with his son Thor. The minute he faces a crisis and loses his kingdom, he abdicates all responsibility and has to go on a quest to find himself. And that as men, we typically don't get that. You typically are in that finding yourself phase from maybe 21 to 26, maybe, if that. But you don't get to abdicate your responsibilities of your own family to find yourself. Typically. Do you know what I mean?
Bro, I definitely get what you're saying, 100%. And it's just fucking weird because as you was explaining this, I'm like, bro, this is fucking the Lion King all over. In the beginning of the trailer, that showed a little scene where he's a boy, he running, and he a teen, and he's an adult. He's fucking running. He's still running through trees and flowers and shit. Looks like the softest shit I've ever seen, but that's how they open the trailer. And that's the exact scene from the Lion King doing Hakuna Matata, where you see Simba for an adult. And you said that Odin was the All Father. He was the most powerful. You know what I'm saying? He was the king. That was Mufasa.
Yeah.
And he was taken down. The father's out of there, and the sons had to go on this whole journey to find themselves. But the difference between the Lion King and this shit, Simba went back and took his shit.
He reclaims the throne, right?
This nigga said, this lady right here can do it better than I ever could. So my whole the whole kingdom that I've just inherited, I'm just gonna give it to her.
Right. And the thing is,
that's exactly what's happening with these fucking, I guess you could say liberals, but these folks in real life who's the black people's world only move if the white man give they shit up.
Just and out of the way. Yeah.
That's terrible, bro.
Right. And well, I mean, part of the thing that I was looking at is that if you have a daughter or you are a woman, that's incredibly, I'm not saying put downish, but it's an incredibly backhanded compliment to say that, hey, Thor's through with his toy Mjolnir. Why don't you play with it now? You know what? It's not Thor. He kind of gave it up, so you can be Thor Jr. Like we're gonna give this to you. And if anyone follows Norse mythology, if you haven't, if you listen to an audiobook or read the book by Neil Gaiman of he explains it in a story form of what Norse mythology is, right? So if you're looking at Norse mythology, the role of Valkyrie, it's not just one person called Valkyrie. They're Valkyries. They're actual, it's a title. The Valkyries, what they do is they take the combatants slain in battle. If it was a righteous death, they take them to Valhalla. And Valhalla, all they do is they redo these fights over and over. They die, they live again, die, live again. But at the end of the fighting, they go to the Great Hall, they feast, they do it the next day over again. So a Valkyrie is basically a shepherd from the mortal plane into Valhalla in the afterlife, right? So the thing is, by making them an actual person, it takes away the importance of what a Valkyrie is as a shepherd and a guide to the afterlife, right? Yeah. And if you actually look at Norse mythology, they actually could have used Freya, who's actually the goddess of love, the unknown, and fate. And it's actually a perfect representation for what the right woman is in your life or the wrong woman. Because the woman that you choose can gradually determine your fate. You know, if you're going to be the ruler, the overseer, the protector, or with the wrong woman, your fate is going to be misery and or death. So you could have actually included a real Norse mythology goddess and shown how important she is to the development of the rest of the characters. You know, and the thing is, she's not just doing or telling you your fate because you're a man, because she could have done it for the women that were there as well. She could have been seen as an oracle. and that would have given her a great importance in either Asgard or New Asgard if you're going with Thor, Love, and Thunder. If you're saying that Thor's going on this quest, who better than to seek counsel from than Freya? Because she would tell you what your fate could be. And that's how you actually go with showing, in terms of the multiverse, all the possible decisions he could make based on this journey and the effect of each.
Yeah.
And so that's a tremendous opportunity they wasted just to give the spare parts to Jane Foster to be Thor. My bad. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, you good. You good. You said so like instead of having Freya and she be an oracle and actually like leading Thor or
give him guidance,
on this journey. That's I don't know if you watched the Lord of the Rings movies. I haven't. I've only seen 2 so far.
I haven't either. Okay.
Well, in the new show, they changed a whole lot of stuff, and apparently this character Galadriel, who was this high elf, she was revered, and she was, what I'm saying, she was known as one of those, those memorable elves that's known across the land through fucking cultures.
Right.
But in the show, they're turning her into this warrior type character because and like you were saying, how they doing with the fucking with Valkyries, or could have done with Freya. Women can't be women or feminine anymore.
Right.
They have to be Jane Fosters and have to be strong and fight and do it better than the man. And it's just weird to see how all these properties do the same shit, and you see it in all of them. So it's like, what is the goal? Why are y'all all pulling from the same like playbook or concept, or like that's the weird part to me. Not that we seeing this shit like gay stuff or strong characters, because we've already had those. Why are we seeing it in a mass and across all platforms, like all companies? Like they have to be communicating some type of way to say this is what we're doing to enforce the culture.
I don't even know if it's communicating as so much as just being lazy. Do you know what I mean? Because I think that's for the mass part, I think we do what's the easiest that's going to, in our minds, give us the quickest amount of profit or the most amount of praise for the least amount of work. Do you know what I mean? And so if you see something that you saw work for one person, like, well, I have a character that I can make like that. I can give them the same attitudes, the same hairstyle, because hello, where have we seen that? Where have we not seen the half shaved and the
how are they seeing it work? What are they interpreting as
retweets, tweets, and retweets?
Does money not matter?
Huh?
Does money?
Well, this is the thing. So if your job is to build a resume so that you can go on to the next thing, get more money, do what you need to, and move to the next thing and get more money, then in that case, it doesn't matter about the money, because all you have to be associated with is a social movement that garners a lot of attention, but not necessarily bring forth the fruits in terms of the economics that we typically associate with success. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It used to be how well you did at the box office. What were your numbers opening week? How did you do overseas? Now it's, well, this movie starts a discussion. Or did you see how we got so many retweets for a reaction? Oh, this popular YouTuber reviewed it and they liked it. That means they like me and what I'm doing. So I'm going to use this as a resume currency to get me my next position at the next big thing before anyone finds out that this type of marketing or this type of character doesn't really bear the economic success that you think it does. So that by the time that they figure that out, you're on to the next project, or they're 2 or 3 positions behind where you used to be. You get what I'm saying? So by the time that we were talking about Ta-Nehisi Coates, we both know he's a terrible writer, and we would have known that at Captain America. But people are looking at Black Panther and saying, I don't think this is such a good book. And he's probably on to, I don't know if he's even writing for the Val Zod movie with Black Superman at this point. Mm-hmm. But by the time that you figure out that, wow, this book didn't sell, this movie was atrocious, and the writing was bad, well, they can blame it on, that was just, bad marketing. They didn't really see my vision all the way. But it doesn't matter to me because I'm on to the next thing.
COVID, the pandemic.
Right, COVID, pandemic, it's racist that they didn't like it, it's sexist, it's homo, whatever. You can shroud it in as many code words as you want to, but it doesn't matter because your movie did not bear the fruit economically that you say it would for all the retweets and exposés that it garnered.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't really think it's necessarily about money for the people that work for these corporations because they may not see the money that the corporation sees. And so in that respect, I don't have to be nearly as invested. I just have to be visible enough for someone to know me by name so that I can use my name and some of the projects that I've been a part of to get me to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And damn, whatever happens to the company or the actual compensation that's achieved because of how terrible it was.
I definitely get what you're saying. That's a whole lot of selfishness. And
Yeah.
you could say that that's been in Hollywood, I guess. I'm pretty sure it has.
Mm-hmm.
But as I hear a lot of people say, the mystique of Hollywood is like gone. These people are showing them their true selves. They're showing that they're fucking just as human as we are. They just been in front of a camera, and in some media or something that we consume. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like, how do that makes me think of something that it makes me think of something that I was thinking, like, how do I see what you mean? Like, as long as you see that a person is attached to like some social movement or they raised some questions or stood up for this group. But how are these people like, I'm asking a question, but I know the answer.
I know. I think I know where you're going with that. Like, how are they in the same spots?
What I'm trying to say is, people, like, I guess people are not saying it, but because they don't love these products like we do. But it seems like there should be some type of fucking test to even work on these projects. Like, in order to be this character or to play in this movie, you have to, pass some tests. Give me some stories, some arcs that you like from this character. Let me hear you say this iconic line. What moment did you have with this character growing up? Type of shit like that. Whereas I think now, what's up?
They don't do that. No. We did do that. We called it gatekeeping.
Yeah.
When they say, "Well, I love the Flash." Oh, really? Which one? Because we'd want to know. Oh, the one on the CW. Like, well, that's not really the Flash. That's a TV version of the actual character. Which Flash do you like? Oh, the one with the helmet that has the wings on it. Well, yeah, okay. Which one's that one? The Flash. Okay. What do you like about him? Because he's fast. And you're thinking, wait, no, that's you're not really a fan per se, or your fandom is based on what someone put in front of you. Yeah. What about the actual character that someone peeled away and put on screen that you liked? What about the original comic book character that did you like? And so,
and then what did you like and did not like about the adaptation in this show,
right,
or whatever?
Right. And so I think that we used to do that. We used to gatekeep, but along the lines of, I think, I'm not saying Me Too and Believe on Women. From what I can recall, women that were into it, they would say that, oh, you questioning me is misogynistic. Oh, I can't wait it because I'm a girl. Like, no, we just don't like people that just blindly say they like something to like it, because we've been reading this for years. Well, what about the character do you like? Since we're bringing you into the fandom, what new perspective can you bring to the discussions about the character that we either may not have noticed, or for someone that's new to it, what drew you to the fandom? Yeah. And so with people saying your legitimate criticisms are either racist, sexist, homophobic, ableist, whateverist, we said, okay, well, I don't mean to offend, because, we used to be called nerds, and so we don't like being called names, so you're in. Well, because we dropped that requirement, now that everyone's in, it's, damaging it from the inside. And so that also followed with having to put these movements in comics. And so they'll say, well, hey, that person wrote the first gay out character from Marvel. We need to do that over here at DC. Bring that person in, or bring someone like that in. So that's how you can see that these writers or artists that write or draw the same types of characters keep getting work, because rather than try to find these new artists or characters and develop them themselves, they're just saying, let me get the it person to write the story or draw the art so I don't look like I'm being called bad words.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you can get this perpetual cycle of people moving on to the next big thing, only to perpetuate the same types of stereotypical characters and storylines. So that's how it keeps going. I think that's what you're asking, is how do you keep having this same thing happening? If people notice, people do notice. And so it's, when you get them in, it's like, well, I'm not reading that person's character. We know we don't read Tom King or Tom Taylor because their art or their writing is terrible. And we know what kind of characters that they write.
So I get what you're saying, but I guess the question is, well, how long will they try to sustain it? Or how do they think these characters will like catch on and then the world will slowly embrace these characters? Because I mean, if they, like at some point they gotta be losing money, or they gotta be
well, this is the thing. Well, so when they tried to put that out issue of Jonathan Kent, and they were saying how it's like one of the top comics that sold, that actually wasn't even the case. That issue wasn't even top 50 for all comic book sales that came out. So it was not what you touted it to be, right? Which is one thing. However, with Discovery Plus taking over all of Warner Brothers and thus DC, they're going to be looking at those numbers with a fine-tuned comb, like an accountant would, and say, well, the amount of money that we're putting into this, the amount of marketing, the money we spent on hiring this special writer that's supposed to be so great, or the special artist or colorist that actually, brought the character to life in the comic form, it's not bearing any financial gain. And so us as a company acquiring you guys, we're going to either have to cut these writers, cut the colorists and artists, or we might have to cut storylines because it's not bearing the economic fruit. So I think once you have outside entities looking into this and seeing the money that they're not getting, they're going to say you need to shape up or ship out. Because even Young Ripple was saying Marvel is only 20 to 25 years removed from declaring bankruptcy. So he said it can happen. And I mean, with the characters that they keep putting out, with the agenda that they keep pushing, it's quite possible that they're going to be bleeding money if they're not already bleeding money already. And so, at that point, people are going to start checking out. As you know, independent comics are becoming something that people are turning back to, because that's what wound up happening in the 90s when the characters got so boring and uninteresting. People started reading independent comics in the 90s, and that wound up having the sales of Marvel and DC plummet. We know about Spawn, but I mean, we know that Image Comics is an independent comic book maker. So
does it mean our time is coming?
Well, yeah. I mean, people are actually going to want to hear stories from characters that they may not know, from genres that they might find interesting, with a lack of agenda that they don't want to see in their comics. So, I mean, it might be our time.
Yeah, man. A lot of people are tired of superheroes, and that's it's crazy that a lot of the average person doesn't know that comic books exist outside of Marvel and DC.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I mean, yeah, that's funny, because as that shit dies, you will start to see. I don't know. They're probably already there, but definitely people from different, I guess, genres. But then at the same time, I feel like those people already do read comics. But even if they don't, like the push for independent shit, I think we'll see a rise in people wanting more types of comics, and then the superhero shit will be. I don't think it will die. But I mean, you get what I'm saying. It's gonna be. It's not gonna be in such a demand as a whole lot of other shit.
I would say this. What I see superhero multimedia winding up being is what my father told me. And I didn't really believe him, because he told me this when like Iron Man came out, when it was just starting. I'm like, this is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great. He said, hey, look, son, all these superhero movies are putting out, this is exactly what they did in the 30s and 40s and the 50s with cowboy westerns. Like everything was a Western because people loved Westerns. But after a while, no one wanted to see Westerns. The only time that I would see Westerns was when I was a traveling doctor and I would actually see patients in nursing homes. Because for them, watching Westerns was their Marvel phase. For them, that was their thing. They liked it. And so I think that superhero movies or multimedia as a genre is going to go the way of cowboy Westerns. It'll be a thing where it might be a throwback. You might see one successful one every 5 or 6 years, but we would have moved beyond that to the next genre, And as far as independent comics, I would say it helps when you have actual actors back a comic. Like, I don't even know if you've heard of Berserker before, the Keanu Reeves backed comic. Yeah. I actually read it. It was crowdfunded. People actually paid for Keanu Reeves and another artist to actually create a comic. People paid their money to see an independent comic come to fruition. And I actually bought volume 1 and I pre-ordered volume 2 because it was good. Again, it's Keanu Reeves. So even in the comic book, he doesn't really do a lot of talking. But he doesn't. It's a decent comic for what you get. The art is pretty great. And so because you got a decent actor wanting to get behind the media of comics, it had a built-in fan base from day one. So I think that the rate it's going to go is people following artists or actors that want to make their own comic and telling them exactly what it is and what it isn't and letting them pay to have that comic book made. So I think pretty soon we're going to get, like concierge comic books, people paying for the exact type of comic that they want and being satisfied with that.
Yeah. I mean, I want to say you saying that in like other areas as well, just because people are able to make things,
right,
on their own as opposed to years ago. That made me think of fucking Jay-Z made that movie. Was it Harder They Fall on Netflix? The cowboy jet or the western?
I have so many issues with that movie, man. But go ahead.
Me too. We can talk about that at another time.
Okay. All right. Thank you for cutting me off on that one because I was about to go in. I'm a chill. Ego, check your ego.
Because look, I didn't even finish it because it was boring. And damn, I can't really review it without seeing the full movie. But people are making alternatives. And I think, yeah, bro, I just really think it's a time to where I think because it's normal that these things are here, Marvel, DC, Disney, whatever other names we know, people don't want that to go. They feel like they need it. And like, as me and you know,
really don't, right?
Yeah, like we love this shit. Like we was indulging in this shit when everybody else was like, y'all niggas care too much. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why you so critical of shit? But it's like, they the ones that have to constantly go and see and like be involved in these things. And we just like, oh, nah, that's not for me. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or some over here, okay, this is interesting. So, yeah, man, that's just it. That's funny. That's just funny.
No, I understand. I would say that for the rest of that are into the alternative genres and comics, it's one thing to just let people know, hey, you don't have to rely on these two massive companies. There are other comics that aren't going to make you, I hate using feelings all the time, but make you feel like you're in the wrong just because you don't like what they put out. If you like horror, why should I bash on you for not liking sci-fi fantasy? If that's what you like, there are going to be outlets for that without making you think that I really, really need this top brand to just make something just for me.
Most people don't know that. Like you said, with the people going to Disney World, most adults don't care to know this shit.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, so the average person is just gonna keep on watching this shit. They're gonna keep on consuming. Thor about to make a whole bunch of fucking money, but that's what I mean by like, how long will they sustain that? Because if the core fans, the diehard fans, are leaving, if we checked out, then you got those flaky customers that be like, that's all boring. On, you know what I'm saying? So like, at what point?
I don't know if whichever next Marvel movie bombs is going to be kind of a ringing of the alarm to me. And I don't know if the next Marvel movie that bombs is going to sound the alarm. It's not going to be Thor Love and Thunder. It's not going to be Guardians of the Galaxy 2. but it might be Miss Marvel. Okay. Or not Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel 2. Depending on how that turns out, or even Black Panther 2, if they even make that at this point. You know, the first one that bombs that actually has the Marvel imprint is going to wind up sounding the alarm.
With the Marvels, though, that sounds like what's that? Birds of Prey.
Right. That's
a strong woman movie, right. But women weren't even going to see that shit.
Right. And that's the thing is that, you know, usually women want to have characters that have emotional anchors or connections. You know, guys, we want the action to be there and sometimes a plot behind it. We really don't go too much on plot. You know, what is the action for what's actually happening that we're seeing?
We want to see a man overcome.
Yeah. The hero's journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's what we like. And that's what usually pushes the genre. I know that they want to say everything is 50-50, but not everything can be 50-50. Mm-hmm. You know, I would know 50 dudes that are into comics and cosplay for every one woman that I saw on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? You know, and usually the women that you will see on Instagram, it's not about comics and it's not about cosplay. It's either about fitness or something else.
Unfortunately, I'm seeing this whole movement of women who are doing this cosplay shit, and they don't even know these fucking characters that they dressing up as.
Right. They wait until they see the trailer and then they unveil hey, look, check out my new Valkyrie, you know, costume, like from the movie. It's like, well, you just watch the movies. That's fine. It's just everything that you see that's the latest and greatest can't be the bestest ever. You have to have a tiered ranking system for some of this stuff. I understand if you really like a character and every iteration of the character that you see in comic books or other media, you love it regardless, that's fine. It's just that when you try to cling to the latest and greatest of everything and say it's the best thing ever, you just sound like you're chasing cloud at that point. You're cloud chasing.
Yeah, you can't be taken seriously.
Right. Hey, look at me. I'm still relevant, but usually, like I said, there are a few female cosplayers that, hey, I really love cosplay. I'll show you the classical version of Catwoman. I'll show you the movie version from 1992's Batman Returns, and I'll even do Catwoman from the latest The Batman. But for the other female cosplayers that you see, for every 5 or 6 posts that you'll see about cosplay, you might see 10 or 20 about, you know, body positivity, working out, fitness. And so I understand you can be multifaceted. It's just, at what point did you do this just so you can get more eyes on you and then push what you really want under the guise of cosplay? You know?
Yeah. When I was talking about the like the cosplay stuff, like superheroes, yes, but I more so see it from like anime.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's in Twitch. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with Twitch. I know you don't game, but like so you know what Twitch is though, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you seeing a whole lot of females over there that's playing games, that's like cosplaying, like dressing up. Oh, look at me, I cosplay. I love these characters, and they just preying on that audience, which is really males that just want to see them as these female characters. But I brought that up to say that there's a whole lot of people faking loving these properties just to be seen.
Grifting.
That's okay.
Grifting. Yeah, we call it grifting. I call it a grift.
I mean, you're right. I hear that term, and I kind of know what it is, but
yeah, that's grift. Yeah. What you described, that is textbook grifting.
See, I didn't even think of that, so I'm like, okay, well,
yeah,
there's a lot of So yeah, bro. So that's what's happening, and again, bro, just all across the board, you have all of these little scroll warriors infiltrating everything and just making bank off of people who are unaware and don't want to be aware, and just so as you know, that's not a question for you, but why are people so ready to throw money at people that hate them, you know, or just don't give a fuck about you and don't want to give you a good product either?
I could see it as trying to save a failing relationship. You know what I mean? You got your attachments to it. Doesn't matter how you got introduced to the relationship. But for a while, the relationship was beneficial. You got to feel something. You felt that someone saw you, and you felt that how well they did as a success depended upon you.
So,
You know what I mean?
But what's the relationship?
That's what I'm saying. The relationship. I'm saying I'm trying to use it as like a typical relationship in general.
Like, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I guess
what I'm saying is you're doing this, but then now the person that you're in a relationship with has other suitors from different walks and avenues of life. And so because they're not used to that attention, because you were the main source of the attention and the success, they want me, that person wants me, they're offering me this, that, and the other. Well, I should just go with them. And you're like, well, but I like you. Well, I mean, but they like me too. Well, hey, I mean, if I still say that I like you, will you stay? Maybe, maybe not. Well, I'm going to bring this other person into our relationship. And they're the complete opposite of you. They don't like you at all. And I actually agree with that person. And I guess, like, instead of letting that relationship die, severing it and moving on, I think people would or fans are typically like, well, I mean, but maybe if I hang on, or if I show you more attention, or I actually take in some of the indoctrination that you're giving me, maybe you'll still stick around, and maybe you'll show me that attention that I was showing you when this first started.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's weird, man.
It's a weird relationship, but that's the best way that I can explain it. That's the only way that I know to explain it, because otherwise you would have come to your senses and saying, this isn't for me. I actually supported you when you had nothing. And now that you have everything, you're willing to leave me for a very fickle audience that says that everything is great. If everything can be great, then nothing can be great.
Mm-hmm.
And so people that don't understand that keep falling for the same thing. And they wind up hate watching the thing that they say that they love, just so they can feel some semblance of the character that they grew up with, even mention a reference from an issue or a saga, crisis, or arc that they vaguely remember of the true character. I know it's a winding road to go through, but it's the only way that I can explain the relationship some fans have with a character or entity. Well, instead of letting it die, they keep coming back.
I feel you. I don't think that people truly, like, I feel like if you love something, it's a part of you. It has some type of great impact on you. You know what I'm saying? You want to keep it near and dear. There's some benefit. You shouldn't waste your love. I don't think people really understand what that is, because I mean, like we saying, they fake this love just to be looked at by people, or to be seen in this light. But this brings me to the next topic of fucking Ezra Miller and all the shit that he doing. But like, people really don't embody these characters or live by these values that these characters that we love actually preach and talk about. Like, because if Ezra Miller really loved the Flash and felt like he was the Flash just on screen, you wouldn't see him fucking throwing chairs at women or calling people whores and just weird shit like that, because that's not what the hero taught us to do. They taught us to exactly not do that shit. So yeah, man, people's attachment to these characters and these properties just because they grew up with them, or what I'm saying, like, it's just weird to me. Everything doesn't have to go through my box or my approval, but nonetheless, how can you love something, especially if we talking about like art, like a cartoon, a book, or a movie, something that tells a story? How can you love it and not take anything from it that betters you?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
I do. And it's a tough position to be in, because that the character that you see on the screen isn't the actual character portraying the comic book character that you fell in love with.
Yeah.
You can't really put them so high on a pedestal and then not regard their humanity as well.
Yeah, man.
It's a very tough spot to be in for that.
Yeah. What up, King Crab Cakes in the chat?
What up?
Man, we talking about this Ezra Miller fool. But
oh
yeah,
boy.
bro, like I don't know. I think I told you it was a weird fantasy of mine. I wanted to be a Disney kid.
Yeah.
Or like I wanted to be an actor. You know, I think a lot of kids do because you see a kid on TV and they just having fun, like sitcom. Ooh, they getting rich off of that. But like I would never want to play a character that I truly didn't know or look like, because I would want to do that character justice, and I would want to be, and I would want to be exactly what that character embodied. So if it wasn't me, then you know what I'm saying, the role is not for me.
Yeah.
And nah, man, I think a lot of people going back to that selfish Hollywood mentality and attaching themselves to projects, like you were saying, is just, oh, if I can get this role, I'm gonna be set. They gonna know I was in this Marvel movie, or I was in this big title, and I'm like, bro, if you really love these characters, it ain't about that. Like the reason I loved fucking Steve Rogers, or you know, Captain America and Tony Stark,
Chris
Evans and Robert Downey Jr., because they look like them niggas.
From
the comics and the cartoons. So I was like, and this was without knowing politics or what these people really were. Like, if you don't get this jab, you know what I'm saying, all this type of shit. Before knowing all this, again, the mysticism of Hollywood, you just see them on screen and who they portray. Like the reason we love Will Smith and hate what he going through, because the nigga he portrayed on screen, we love him and we don't want to see that man hurt. But like Chris Evans looked like Captain America, even a better version of Captain America. I didn't read the comic books, you know what I'm saying? But like that soldier boy, I'm finna do what's right type shit. He looked like, you know, blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy.
Yeah.
And Tony Stark was the, you know, the playboy, like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? I look good. I got money. I'm a superhero at the same time. What you trying to do? You know what I'm saying? You trying to hop in the suit with me? You know what I'm saying? So seeing these characters, I was like, bro, they look like these niggas. These niggas are real, because they was handling the movies well. So so we believed them. But now Ezra Miller, which he don't look like fucking, who is it? Is it Barry Allen?
Barry Allen's like blonde hair, blue eyes. He does not.
He don't look like him, and he don't act like the fucking Flash. So if that was the case, bro, if I was an average person, I think I'll be looking at these movies like, oh, that nigga, wow. He don't believe none of this shit he's saying on screen. Fuck these movies. I'm like, these niggas ain't real.
No, I mean, and that actually bleeds into the next topic about Ezra Miller's second arrest in 3 weeks. I mean, so he got arrested Tuesday, April 19th, and I actually pulled all this from the Hawaii police report online. And so he got arrested for second-degree assault in Pahoa, Hawaii, right? So essentially, he was at a private residence. I'm guessing it might have been a party of some sort, and he was actually asked to leave. And so in the report, it says he became irate and picked up a chair and threw it. And it wound up hitting this woman in the forehead, and she has a half-inch gash in her head as a result. You know, Ezra Miller leaves. He winds up getting picked up for a traffic violation, put in jail for about 3 hours, and he's out on bail. And so you're looking at it, and this is the second time he's been arrested in 3 weeks in Hawaii, right? And so you're trying to figure out how you're actually going to be able to salvage a movie around a man that keeps finding himself in legal trouble, right? And when I talked to, you know, Lady Shiro, the wife, the first thing that she said is, why does he keep attacking women? And I hadn't even thought about that, but I said, wow, every time he's been in trouble, he's been attacking women the entire time. And so I know we're post Me Too and post Believe All Women, but the actual time that we have video evidence of a man attacking women on several fronts, I don't know if there's going to be a way around spinning him as a superhero when the people that he's attacking, like an actual person that portrays himself to be a hero, isn't going around attacking women. Do you know what I mean?
Bro, he's a they, them.
Well, they, them don't be attacking women.
Remember on that video when I told you he was attacking women, he said, because he told the man, your whore wife or some shit. So for him to use some derogatory against
towards a woman, I see what you did.
Yeah, something against the women, and the fact that he's a they, them, bro, got something going on.
That is highly possible.
He could be jealous of women. He might wants to not be a they and them. He want to go and be a she or her. He got to chop his dick off for the masses, though. It's like
I mean, it's
he got to heal up in time for the movies.
Well, I mean, it's getting to the point where you're leaving us no choice in your actions, but to assume that could be your motive. And so,
what's hot right now, the gays. So that's why he's protected.
I don't know how
he can easily look. I'm playing about the whole little surgery and everything, but if he going to say I identify as a fucking woman, then the world that we see being created right now, that was woman on woman crime.
Huh. That's highly possible. And so now you actually have a legitimate problem, right? As we were talking about the Captain Jack Sparrow and Mira situation last week, let's say they keep the person playing Mira in Aquaman 2, right? And we keep Ezra Miller as the Flash for the duration of the Flash series, which are trying to spin off into the new Justice League, right? So if we're protecting and believing all women, what does that say for actual abusers of men and women, actual survivors of domestic violence? Which one is going to win out in the suffering Olympics? Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're not gonna win that battle.
We're gonna be laughing.
Oh, I'm gonna be laughing. Oh yeah, bro.
Like with the fucking pregnant inmates with the transgender, and they like, what happened? Like, hey, we laugh it.
I looked at the picture they showed. He had a mustache.
Bro,
whatever hormones he was taking, they weren't working. They gave him Flintstone vitamins. Those weren't hormone shots. That was a Flintstone vitamin.
They were juicing that Flintstone in there.
Exactly.
Superwoman in there.
Exactly.
But yeah, man, I feel like he gonna easily pull that card and be like, I identify as a woman, and he gonna be safe again. But
he can. That's what I said, that if you say that, the next logical step is you can be whatever you want to be, but if you put your hands on somebody, that's still domestic violence.
Yeah.
And you can't get out of domestic violence. At least I don't see a way of doing it. So now I'm conflicted about actually going to see The Flash now, because I don't know if it's worth it, because I heard in the movie, potential spoilers, he plays 3 versions of himself. And
you ain't supposed to be watching this shit no way. You know it's garbage.
Bro, in the 80-year publication years history of The Flash, he's never had a movie. This is exactly the relationship I was talking to you about. See what I mean? I'm in an abusive relationship with DC. I'm hoping that they'll give me some semblance of The Flash I knew, and you see the lengths I'm willing to go to at least get a semblance of it. I wasn't saying
it's dead.
I know.
Bro, I walked out of Spider-Man. That hurt.
I know. And that's why I said I don't know. I want to watch it. I really do. I just am going to.
Flash. He is not embodying that character. He's just the Flash in name.
I know, and that's the problem that I'm going to have, because of all the versions of the multiverse they tell us exist in real life, I gotta have the one where we got a problem with the movie getting made. Of all the multiverse y'all tell me exists, I gotta have the one where it might not even be put on screen.
Just wait until we get old, bro. That's when the reset gonna come, and then we gonna see.
I'm already old. I'm shaking my fist right now. Get that Barry Allen off my screen. That's not the real one.
But you finna go see the nigga. So they was like, you saying that, but if you gonna pay for it,
don't deflect. Don't deflect. Don't do that to me.
Bro. Oh my God. Well, I'm not going to see that shit, and don't buy me no ticket. That's what you pulled the last time with that Batman.
I didn't do that. That was Marcus wanted to go see it, and he said we were going to probably review it. He got it. We got tickets anyway. I will not do that to you to The Flash. I will probably go see it so I can give an actual honest review for the people that don't plan on seeing it. I can do that. Do that.
That's on you, man. Yeah, I'm not gonna be there for that one for you.
That's okay. I'm okay with that.
We were supposed to go see Sonic. I would have went and saw that with you.
I still haven't seen Sonic yet. I gotta check out Sonic and probably the Northman at some point in time. But
ooh, hold on.
Yeah, bro. I forgot. They came on Friday.
Let's go see that.
Okay. We'll go see the Northman.
I was watching Friday Night Tights.
Mm-hmm.
They said it was werewolves in this movie.
I told you. It's dope. It's a dope movie, man.
You told me it was dope. Werewolves in this movie?
No, I didn't know there were werewolves in the movie. I didn't see it. It came out Friday. I just knew that it was spear chucking and people wearing the wolf thing and then going around reclaiming kingdoms. So they had me at the spear chucking. So
they had me at the wolves. When I see somebody with the wolf little head on them, I'll be like, man, you be out here killing wolves like that, man. I don't know. But if there's some werewolves involved, then hey, I'm for it. I'm for
it. All right. Then I'm all for that though.
All right, man.
But
we gotta go support other movies and from niggas, not from people that hate us and hire Ezra Millers to play.
I gotta figure what I'm gonna do, man. I'll figure out whether I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna either hate watch it or critique the hell out of it. So I don't know which way I'm gonna go, but I will let you know once I get the review up for it.
Either way it goes, it still says ticket sale.
This is a ticket sale so that you don't have to spend more money on it. I sacrifice for the greater good of the community.
I'm gonna let you have it.
You don't have to. Thank you. I appreciate it. I needed that win. Thank you.
Even though ain't nobody watching that damn video. You saving so many lives. Man, we appreciate your sacrifice though. Me and the Ghost Soldiers.
Oh my God. But yeah, I mean, so I guess go ahead.
Go, man. So you can hop on the video and then you can tell the people how it was, and I can just laugh at your disappointment. I know, like I did with Batman.
Don't do that. I was already upset at Batman. I was already upset with Batman that I had to see that version of him have a bat around his chest the whole time and use it twice to cut police tape.
That's what he did. He throw them motherfuckers at no robbers with the look, and then they drop the gun.
He just walked right into automatic gunfire. And you shot a gun, so that's the dumbest thing ever to walk into automatic gunfire. Chest plate or not, exactly.
Hey, nigga, recoil and hit your ass in the chin, Batman. You gonna be fucked up out here. You gonna be wish you had the fucking whole
oh man,
I should have worn my COVID mask.
Exactly. So I mean, I know that we went off for that one, but as far as the I guess one of the other topics we want to talk about, I know that you've been reviewing the Proud Family. I have taken pleasure in your sacrifice because I wasn't gonna watch it, but I heard that Lil Nas X was in one of the latest episodes. Like, what's up with that?
So yeah, I watched some of the episode. I watched most of it. I got the gist of what was going on. And unfortunately, it's more strong woman agenda as well as gay agenda.
Okay.
Both of them are in here. And then, tearing down of the man because Oscar he's just getting shitted on. He's just getting pulled by his ear. Trudy even said that she was the boss. She got the sauce. So, I mean, we know what's up. But so we can talk about that. There is something else that I want to show you that I got pulled up.
Okay.
Did you see it? I sent it to you earlier. But yeah, for the Proud Family, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So the way the episode is, Trudy, I guess, wanted to know who Sugar Mama's, where she was from, the rest of her family.
Okay.
On the other side, besides the side of the family that she knew. So she found out who Sugar Mama's ancestry was or where the people was. So they ended up planning the trip to go. Sugar Mama's like, nah, I don't want to go.
Okay.
And I ain't going to talk about it. Oscar ended up making her go. So the one time Oscar's strong man, Sugar Mama, and he got her, I don't want to spoil it. Okay, I don't want to, fuck it, I'm going to spoil it.
Exactly. You see this, you're going to do it in a review either way. So, I mean, I was looking forward to now or the review.
So yeah, the one time Oscar strong arms his mama, we don't see it, but you just see her tied up to like a chair on the top of the car. So they driving. So they driving to where her folks at. They live on like some ranch, like some country little town. I don't know if my folk love saying they from Mississippi. We from down in the country. We picked this and we grew that and raised this and all that. So that's what was going on.
Okay.
So her father owns a ranch. And so the little Nas X thing comes on because he's one of the cousins there. And as him and Bobby, the brother who be Yeah,
don't touch that button. That guy.
Yeah. So Bobby, so he hop in the band, and then so he get his little country instrument. Lil Nas X got like a little banjo or some shit. They other cousin on some, and then Old Town Road start playing. And all the black people just have a hold down, and then they square dancing or whatever the dancing called. And they doing their thing out there. So you got Old Town Road playing. If any of y'all know who Lil Nas X is, y'all know that he made Old Town Road song that everybody was jigging and jiving to and was loving it. I ain't gonna lie, the jump, you know what I'm saying? It had you moving, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you played Red Dead Redemption just then, you was like, ooh, that country shit, black folks on that country shit. But then you realize that he gay, he talking about riding something else. I don't know.
He had the horses in the back for a reason.
Yeah, and he gonna ride till he can't no more to that thing. So yeah, man, this dude weird. But yeah, so he played that song and all the people was dancing to it. So that's another one of those things where people don't know because they don't care to know. Then they just sitting there having to hold down to the gay song in their kids' show. All right. Not a song on the radio that you can be like, we ain't listening to that. This is
right
when you send your kid out to go watch Disney Plus, you know, they listen to Old Town Road. But yeah, the strong woman agenda, not even past Trudy, the Sugar Mama's mama was there, or what I think it was her mama, or one of the recent wives. You know how the old folks used to get down.
Yeah.
So she comes up saying, like, I know your Paul, like this is land, but I'm the one who really running everything. So she say that shit. And all right, past that. But you find out that the reason that Sugar Mama didn't want to be there was because there was no girls allowed in the rodeo. And they owned a ranch. So I guess they was competing in some I'm new to all this stuff, but some competition that was coming up that every man enters in every generation. And his son was a little wimp. He was crying. So Sugar Mama's brother, and he was like, I can't do it. Like, even though he told the bull, like the dude spoke to the bull, told him go easy on the kid, and like he couldn't do it. So while he over here getting on his son ass, like, son, you got to be a man. You know what I'm saying? You can't be crying about this shit. And you just see he turns around, and then little kid Sugar Mama, Charlotte, what is her name is riding the shit out of their bull, and she like, look, daddy, look, I can do it. And she done rode the motherfucking bull till he couldn't do it no more. So he laid out on the ground tired. And then dad was like, no girls allowed. And that was it. And she ran away or some shit. So yeah, the agenda was in there. They threw a little gay shit. They threw a little strong women shit. They threw a little men ain't shit in here. Because even though they claim they running shit, it's really the woman behind the scenes that's running shit and making the decisions. And I'm like, yeah. That's what I mean, bro. Stuff's happening. Like,
more of the thing. Okay.
There's not no great media, like no great stories to indulge in. There's just stuff happening on TV and on to the next phase in the agenda pushing.
Yeah,
man. It was terrible. It was unfortunate. Oscar got shitted on through the show. So
that's ridiculous. I mean, that's okay. Yeah, I'm glad you checked it out because I could not put myself to actually want to nor care to watch something about a rodeo that was no girls allowed, which is ironic because they're trying to make it sexist and it's saying black people were sexist, saying no girls allowed. That's what it sounds like, at least. That black people were saying no girls allowed. It's like, well, I mean, that was the reason she left because she couldn't rodeo. Go ahead.
Yeah, because she couldn't enter the competition, or like she wasn't seen as one of the boys, even though she was just as good, even though she was better than the boys. So I mean, that shit, which I'm sure some women deal with that, but it's just terrible timing, man. It's terrible timing. But even then, so like, correct. I don't know how deep you go into the rodeo life, but when I did go to that rodeo with y'all,
yeah,
and the men was doing their thing, and then when the women came out, I was like, what's the appeal of this?
It's like, so from what I got, it depends. It's like, well, so it's with the men, it's strength, with the women, it's speed in general, right? We didn't go to see a man rope and tie up a steer. We wanted to see you ride a bull, because that takes guts, regardless of what you decide to do.
I wanted to see all of it.
Okay, fine.
That's a man taming nature.
I would say that they saved the main event for what? The bull riding, right?
Right.
They showed you, okay, well, hey, this is Mustang riding where you don't have to wear the helmet, and so can you tame a wild horse?
Mm-hmm.
Or can you break a horse, right? With the women, it's like, well, hey, how fast can you get that horse to go from A to B? Because if you actually needed a horse to get a further distance in a quick amount of time, technically you would go with the lightest weight male or woman, because speed, and weight are going to be dependent upon that. And so from the way that they built it up, it's just like, well, the women, it's like, whoa, wow, we were like, yo, that horse, she was really fast on that horse. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was able to get the course around the barrels through all the obstacles in a record amount of time. But when it came for, turn the lights off, make the announcements, all the cheering, that was the guys actually on the bulls.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, they saved that for the heavyweights. And so typically when you're trying to see feats of strength and endurance, you're usually looking at men. Women, if anything, might be speed, but I mean, that's could be weight dependent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So do the women want to compete with the men, or do they want to do the events?
That's the question. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They always want to push for women to be in something, but I don't know if some women in general would want to even do that. Yeah. It was kind of like the right to vote. It was really 50-50. Like most women did not want to vote.
Because they didn't want all the responsibility.
Right. They're like, no, I don't want to vote. Right. So technically it's like, well, you're saying how this is a championship for women, championing, women's suffrage, but technically you wouldn't have that suffrage without men having to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so you're trying to completely downplay the role of men in advancing women's rights. And so now you want to be inundated in every part of society. It's like, well, would you even want that? Because as much as women are about trying to be in men's spaces, how many women want to get drafted for war right now if we had to go into one?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, there are TikTok videos of women crying their eyes out at the thought of being drafted because they don't want to go to war. I know that there are a lot of men that don't want to go to war either, but you would accept that responsibility as provider and protector, that if we had to go to war, we're taking up arms. I mean, that's part. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think men kind of expect it. Like, shit's gonna happen, and you crying about it ain't gonna get shit done. Somebody gonna have to resolve this.
Right. And and for the most part, we wouldn't want to have to send our women to war. You know what I mean? The stuff that it does to people, to men in general, to people, you wouldn't want to wish that on anyone. I've heard stories of people that have been in wars, and for the short amount of time that they tell me that they've been in there, the problems that they've told me they had, I don't want those problems. But I know that if I had to get drafted into war, what else am I going to do?
I wouldn't want to send a woman into war. I don't like the idea of war, but as far as like battle and like defending some territory, I definitely believe in that. And that's why I do think that men will, for the most part, outperform a woman in like physical type shit, like strength.
Oh, yeah.
But in our upbringing, I would say as a civilized people, I think women did participate in like warfare to some degree.
Yeah, war efforts.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess so. I'm always looking at shit naturally. I think some men are like lions and want to take control of everything, and a woman just be submissive or be at home. Like, I understand that, but I think you do have some wolves, whereas like we understand the differences in between men and women, but this is still my equal. You know what I'm saying? Like wolves, there's an alpha male and an alpha female. The alpha female knows that alpha male is on top, but to everybody else, it is them at the top, like those two. So I'm more of a wolf mindset to where, and that's why I want to get my woman into like the self-defense and like the guns and stuff, because it's like, if we both are threats, You know what I'm saying? That's fucking wild, as opposed to you sitting here cowering in the house and I'm just going to get, intercept the threat. And then once I'm gone, then, like.
Well, I mean, that's the point, is the fact that, we talked about it. Men is provision and protection, women it's transmission of culture. So the culture that you create is something that she's going to wind up passing down to your children.
Mm-hmm.
And, whatever tactics that you learn for protection and provision that you show to her, that's what job she has to pass down to your children. So you wind up perpetuating that alpha male, alpha female pack mentality that you're talking about, which is why it's important for you to learn how to do something in terms of the self-governance if someone comes for what we have specifically. But it's not why we would be the first to push them out to direct warfare with an enemy that's not on our home soil.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I mean? Like, I understand we don't want to send them to war, but it's like, Shiro knows about the guns just as much as I do.
Exactly.
For every 3 or 4 times that I'm out the range, she'll be out there at least once or twice. Every firearm that I have, she knows how to operate independently. She has her own ways of self-defense. I carry, she carries. So when we have, our children, we teach them about, hey, these firearms, they're not toys. And you can't only rely on a firearm as your means of self-defense. You need to be situationally aware. You need to be in the right environments, choose the right amount of friends, and don't stay out at past a certain amount of time by yourself. But those are things that I and Shiro go over, that when we have children, that's a part of the culture that she can transmit to the children. So that in this house, this is what we do. If anyone comes to the house, means us harm, children, you go off and safe. Mother, defend the children. I'll protect the house. You know what I mean? Like, it's supposed to be that flow chart.
Yeah, I think so. In my case, we got all the dogs.
Yeah, you got sons of alarm bells.
Yeah, so our thing is, and we in the great city of Texas, and we've been fortunate enough to reap some of those benefits of being here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about?
Click clack. Yep.
Yeah, click clack. So you know what I'm saying? We got that, but our thing is, while I'm, of course, the man should intercept. So while I'm intercepting, she's going letting all the dogs out of the cages.
Yeah.
So that if anybody get through, they got a whole pack.
That's something to deal with. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what you're supposed to do. Like, that's the actual natural interaction between the sexes. That's the thing that makes it, lock and key. You both work together. It doesn't necessarily mean that the lock is better than the key or the key is better than the lock, but they're supposed to function as a unit. Whatever roles you guys carve out for yourselves in deciding how that lock and key works, that's up to you. But it's not like we're trying to say one part of the machine is better than the other, because it's going to fall apart if you don't have the correct piece. I think that in terms of what we see or what we're shown, they're trying to say that one part is better than the other. And that's the issue, is that, we got keys wanting to be locks, and locks thinking that they need to act like keys to be the best version of themselves.
And telling women that, I guess, to be a man or to be as great as a man think he is, you just got to be strong. And I don't know.
It's almost like, how do you cosplay a guy? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like whenever they try to show you these strong female characters, it looks like a man's interpretation or a woman's interpretation of what they think a man is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, whenever they do these things where they try to show you, like in the music videos where the girl's like, what if I was like a boy? You always see a stereotypical version of what they think a guy looks like, but we would even know it's a douchebag. Hat low, sweatpants, really baggy, does this stuff all the time. We're like, that guy's a dork. That guy's a loser.
Hey, he's a dork.
He's a dork, a loser. He doesn't have any friends. He's doing too much. He's like, you basically showed us the loner type. Like, I'm in love with the loner. Any guy would say you really can't be friends with the loner because the loner has no friends or loyalties.
No,
so
you
would go ahead.
You would think that's the bad boy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The bad boy is the loner, and the loner has no friends. So when someone attacks you see what I'm saying?
There's different types of bad boys, because that type of bad boy, if he's doing all that, he's showing off.
He's the loner. He's never in the group though. We don't hang with that guy though.
I think that's the bad boy that's in the group. Like, let's say a jock that he has to have that validation of the underlings around him to make him seem like that bad boy. I don't think that would be the loner. Now,
I would say that is, man. So the 1950s on, they've always, because they usually look the same.
1950s, is that the dude that be like
James Dean? That's West Side Story, man. That's a gang member. That's a gang member. That's totally different. That's you in love with a thug, and I good luck with that. Good luck with that thug love, that thug life. You have fun with that. But no, I mean, like when they see, ooh, he's the bad boy, the loner. Typically, you either have the loner bad boy that has no friends, which means good luck defending yourself against a threat because he has no allies, or there's what you would consider the bad boy of the group, which is the dude that just pulls chicks, and that guy is in the group because guys would know that, hey, I know that I'm not going to get if women travel in packs and we travel in packs, we know that the guy that gets all the chicks is going to get the top chick in the girls group, right? So all we're hoping for is the runoff, and so that's his utility within the group. But at least if something goes down within our group, we've got his back because he's not a jerk. He's not a dick. The chicks that they try to show you when they're saying, I want to be a strong, independent woman and act like a dude, they usually choose to be the dick version of a guy that they're trying to portray. And you're like, well, number one, that type of guy doesn't have any friends. That type of guy gets jumped because he tried to take some guy's woman or wife, and that guy that he tried to take, he's got real friends. And they don't take too kindly to another guy trying to take, the woman that they're with. And so whenever you try to see them trying to be versions of different genders, they always choose the version that has no friends, or the one that would easily be the one that you wouldn't want to associate with to begin with. See what I'm saying? When they try to show the gay friend that they have, it's always the one that's technically he's kind of misogynistic. He's always putting them down, and they're always looking to him for validation.
That's what the fuck happened in Proud Family.
Right. And when you flip it and you're trying to show the girl as a strong and independent woman, her feelings don't matter to anyone else. They don't care about your feelings. They're going to do what they do. And if you're having a problem with it, it's your fault. They act condescending. They act as if they're the only ones that matter. And that if that's the case, why are you even here? And if you're looking at it from that point, you're like, all you're doing is playing stereotypes of either gender, and that doesn't help our relationships in terms of a people at all. Because if all you keep showing me is a caricature of what it's like to be a man, number one, well, that's not really what it's like to be a man at all. And number two, whenever I see a woman trying to be that man, it's like, well, technically, being a man isn't that great. Kind of sucks.
Yeah.
You deal with rejection early and often. You're told that in terms of women, you're not going to be worth your salt unless you've got the job, got the education, got the money. And even then it's like, well, you know what? I really want a guy that's like 6 feet tall. So you don't fit that bill. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Women, they might face, I'm not saying they don't face discrimination in different avenues or areas, but I would say it's a lot easier now being a woman than it is of being a man. Because, man, you take on a lot. You're responsible for whatever comes your way. And for, a lot of situations that involve women, sometimes you don't see that accountability on their part.
You got females out here making thousands, maybe millions a month on OnlyFans. And just showing their body. Not even fucking. A lot of them fucking, but they don't have to. They can just show something. Right. And dudes gonna throw money. Like, they ain't even got to be in the club no more. They just throwing the money at the screen.
Making it rain PayPal.
Yeah, slap them virtual cheeks. That's what they doing.
Slapping bites. Okay.
Yeah, look. So we were talking about the I guess what they think a man is and how to be. I don't know. They just got to be strong and they can handle all our problems or the world's problems better than men can. There's this new Hulk line.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna share this screen.
Okay. What you got?
Hold on. Let me go to Streamlabs.
All right.
It's so there's this new Hulk line coming out, right? Or a new storyline.
Okay.
Have you seen this?
What is this?
So I sent it to you, and this is from CBR. All
Okay.
right. Marvel's newest Hulk is the female ruler of an entire planet of Hulks.
What?
Marvel announces a new Hulk storyline, Hulk Planet, that introduces an entire planet built by Hulks that's led by a mysterious leader, Monolith. And this was 5 days ago, so
Okay.
I haven't seen anybody talking about it. I just stumbled across it.
Okay.
There's already a Planet Hulk storyline. That's my fucking favorite.
Right.
But here they are doing it again. This is some female Hulk ruler.
I'm gonna interrupt you really quickly here. I'm looking at the character design for Monolith. She looks almost exactly like a character from DC called Perpetua that actually rules the multiverse. Go ahead, though. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well. All right. New Hulk storyline in July about a planet of Hulks by Hulks. Marvel announced a new story arc, Hulk Planet, from Donny Cates and Ryan Ottley, that will take place after the events of Banner of War. The storyline will see Bruce Banner head off into the cosmos and discover a planet created by Hulks. Ruling the planet is Monolith, a mysterious new character who may or may not be hiding a few secrets up her sleeve. The synopsis for Hulk number 9, where the storyline begins, reads, thoroughly shaken by his battle with Thor in Banner of War and by Titan's impact on his friends, Bruce Banner decides that his best company is himself, and only himself. As he sets Starship Hulk on a faraway course, I guess that's a ship. I didn't read this shit. He begins to reckon with what it means to be healthy. And encounters an alternative to isolation he never thought to dream of. So he doing the same shit that fucking Thor is doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Bruce finally found what should be the ultimate paradise, but he can't shake thoughts of the past or the nagging suspicion that Monolith isn't being totally honest about what she wants from the Hulk. There's her big Hulk monster pet thing showing that she's strong, but she's a woman because she on her tiptoes. She got heels. Man, do you want me to keep reading this shit?
You can stop, bro. I mean, I've had enough already. I mean, I'm trying to look at them saying it looks like they're trying to do Planet Hulk again, but with literal Hulks.
He says that in here.
That what?
Banner has gone on a number of intergalactic journeys throughout the Marvel universe before. The 2006 Planet Hulk storyline with some Marvel heroes send the Green Goliath to the planet Sakaar, which Hulk then decides he has to conquest before returning to Earth for revenge.
I'm not here for it. That doesn't.
So they're aware of this story already happening, but again, these people lack creativity. They're saying we're going to do it again, but this time there's a woman in charge, and she's a better Hulk than the Hulk.
Hulk himself, right?
She has a planet of Hulks that she's made like this utopia for Hulks, bro.
That's bothering me.
And look, so that says that gives me the same feeling of what they fucking do in the X-23. Talking about she surpasses Wolverine because of her compassion. Like she didn't kill Lady Deathstrike and fucking Mighty Thor now. She's better than Thor because I don't know. She fucking knows herself or some shit. So
it's something that there are things that you can't quantify. You know what I'm saying? Because if you looked at the actual things that we really test by quantifying, like actual strength, intelligence, endurance, like, well, technically they fall short on those, which I mean, technically you're kind of supposed to because you aren't the original character. You know, no one's saying that Superman is better than Wonder Woman because he actually has the sun to use as a source of power.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not saying that. We're just saying Wonder Woman has her own powers. She's got the lasso. She's a warrior, and she actually knows how to kill because Superman doesn't kill and Batman won't kill. So technically, we say in the terms of ending a threat, you'd want to send Wonder Woman and not Batman or Superman.
Yeah,
and we're okay with that, right? And that's she handled business, right? And the thing is that just because some guy that you maybe liked or someone that told you couldn't write comics because you're a woman doesn't mean you have to make your personal mission to put men down to elevate a female or a gay character.
Or
you know what I'm saying?
Did anybody tell them this shit?
Well, that's the other thing. Who really told you that? Did they tell you that?
And you said it earlier, like about the gatekeeping, or like let's say we at a con or some shit, and you questioning somebody about like, okay, you like character, or you know what I'm saying, what this and what that, and like if we see a female that's like not about it, then we're like, get out of here, you're not a real fan. It's like if they want to legitimately be a real fan, you know, we'll take you under our wing. Come here, let me give you some guidance. Let me show you some good shit. I'm not trying to kick them titties about the con.
Nah. Right.
We want to see females playing in these characters because we ain't finna dress up as the shit. So
no. It's like you look better than we do. Go ahead.
Some Emma Frost to come through in here. You know,
right.
I need
we're all about it.
To come through in here.
Right. We'll even take a gender bent version of the character in cosplay because it's like, oh, she's a woman, she's hot.
Those
come in.
Those are nice when people do gender bend some shit.
Right.
Well, and it's just
it's done well, yeah. You're like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I can get behind that. Otherwise, it's just
But yeah, bro, I saw that like that comic and this is coming out. Like this is coming out in July. Hold on. In July. Okay.
I think it's July.
Yeah, launches in July. If it would have been June, and I'm like, okay, there's some Pride Month shit, and she gets.
Oh yeah. Well, June, but
Yeah, but it's right after that. So yeah, bro, it's this whole MCU thing that really makes me think. You know how I be always bitching about wanting a Planet Hulk movie. I'm like, now maybe they didn't give it to me because they was waiting on this shit, and they gonna wait to make the Planet Hulk where it's her planet, and he just along for the ride. And seeing how she's a better Hulk. Or fuck it, better yet, She-Hulk got her series coming out. This lady finna abduct She-Hulk. Hulk gonna be along for the ride, and then you're gonna have to see some strong women battle it out, and then she gonna be like, my sister, come live on a planet with me. Those men do not appreciate you down there on Earth.
I mean, you're probably not far off. That might happen.
I'll probably die. That's the sad part. But all right, man. Strong women, MCU happening, comic books.
Oh,
don't care no more.
Nah, I'm almost to the point where I'm out now.
Bro, you should. You know what? All right, I already said it.
I know.
Yeah, man. It's been we're about an hour and 47 minutes. We gonna wrap it up. I'm sweating here. It's hot,
bro. It is. It's pretty hot in that garage for it to be around 5 now. So.
Yeah. We didn't expose the agenda even further.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Till next time, y'all.
Yeah, we out. We'll holler at y'all. This is episode 6, if I'm not mistaken.
6 now.
The Heroes No Capes podcast. Appreciate y'all for coming through. King Crab Cakes. You know what I'm saying? Right. Whoever else
please like and share the video. Please do.
Do that. If you caught it late, you know what I'm saying, go back and watch it. Okay. Give us that watch time. Give us that view.
Right. We're going to work on the timestamps too today. Work on the timestamps.
Yes, sir. And then I'm going to work on be better people with these thumbnails so that y'all can actually see. And then like the uploads, scheduling the uploads, and y'all actually know what we're talking about. You'll know, you know, what conversation you're going into as opposed to just seeing two niggas' faces on the screen. Peace, King Crab Cakes. But yeah, that's it, people. If you're watching this again after the fact, subscribe to our channel.
Please do.
My man Ego, he'll make him a channel at some point. Maybe, we don't know.
Perhaps we'll see.
But right now, Heroes No Capes is here on the Abomination AJ channel. So subscribe, people. But that's it for us.
We'll check y'all later.
We are.